Well, this Sea Harrier was actually down in the Falklands and has the distinction of having shot down 4 Argentinian aircraft. I first flew it at Boscombe Down during the workup for the Argentinian defence and to recapture the islands. And I did some of the ski jump work because the GR version, the RAF version of the Harrier, and indeed the Sea Harrier, needed to be equipped with stores that had not been previously carried, and we needed to clear the GR3, the RAF version of the Harrier, for the ski jump. So I did some of that early work and found it to be despite my trepidation, the easiest way of taking a Harrier off, because you could get airborne into clear air, pointing in the right direction with no ground effect to worry you in terms of handling. So very interesting aeroplane to fly. The early versions of the Harrier were a little bit tricky in the semi-jet-borne flight part of the envelope. And these days, the more modern versions of vertical takeoff and short takeoff aircraft have stability augmentation systems and more power in the reaction controls to make it easier. So in those days, it was a satisfying challenge, shall we put it that way. Well, as you probably know from your history, the Sea Harrier equipped with a Sidewinder was responsible for defending the fleet and intercepting some of the bombing aircraft that came from the Argentinian mainland, and they successfully intercepted quite a number and turned the tables, in a way, of the balance of power in that area. So a very effective aeroplane. Well, here we are close to the side of this Sea Harrier, and might be worth pointing out the 4 silhouettes of the 4 Argentinian aircraft that this aeroplane actually shot down with its Sidewinders here. I'll walk you around the aeroplane if you're interested. Here is the Sidewinder. Here's the seeker head. Here are the vanes that control the aeroplane. You would fly the aeroplane to a point where you had the missile lock on to your target, and when there was a satisfactory firing solution, you would release the weapon. And it was a pretty effective weapon, and it would follow a maneuvering aircraft very accurately to the point of destruction. So that proved very effective. The nozzles of the airplane, those who are not familiar with it, here and here, this set of nozzles, one on either side, would be the cold air coming, or the relatively cool air coming from the front end of the engine, the compressor, and the rear nozzles would be the hot end coming from the turbine end of the engine. You've probably seen them all before, but from the cockpit you had a hand control which could move the nozzles, and therefore the thrust from the straight fore and aft axis to the vertical axis, and indeed could go slightly forward of the vertical. So the aircraft could sit on its own jet efflux and hover, and it could take off and land vertically. As it transitioned forward to forward wing-borne flight, the pilot would progressively move these nozzles to the fully aft position over a period of maybe 10 seconds or so, and the aircraft would then be flying straight ahead. Up to about 550 knots airspeed, which was quite a capable aeroplane really, from 0 airspeed to 550 knots or thereabouts, and carrying quite a load. Here the configuration has 100-gallon fuel tanks, but clearly weapons could be carried too on these wings.